Hi, Isabel. Welcome. If you can hear me, could you give me a thumbs up, please? Give me a thumbs up. How you doing? You you are muted, but all right. Glad to have you on. Glad to have you on.
Yes, Gary.
Good. So you're hearing all
I'm
right.
using my daughter's laptop.
I was wondering. Oh gosh. Okay, we have somebody else coming on. We have a few minutes. We have a few minutes, man. Glad to have you on board. Glad to have you on board. Okay. And I see my daughter there logging on, even though I told her not to. But are you hearing me good and proper? Are you hearing me loud and clear? Good, 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 good. We have a few minutes or so. Let's see. Okay. Want to make sure the sound is okay. Want to make sure the sound is perfect. Good. With a few more seconds and then we get started.
Look at that and look at this, and it's all
Oh,
fine. And the first person to step forward with
ultra
this
good.
of course, I take several steps back, and the second can do like kind of like watching everything, and like, oh, good job. And then he goes, okay, that is just about a minute about to run. There I was with the snake oil.
Ultra, please,
Listen,
could
there is
you
nothing on earth.
use the mic?
After I told you before that moment,
Okay, guys, good day, good day, good day. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Rock the Mic. I'm your host, Garfield Waller. Good evening. Glad to have you here on a Saturday afternoon where I know you could be doing other things. Anyway, welcome to Rock the Mic. I think we have a very interesting topic here tonight, and I hope I can have you participating. Guys, this is a different Zoom thing. It's being broadcast to Facebook and to YouTube at the same time. So, for those of you who are not logged on to Zoom, well, you can hear it on Facebook. You can watch it on YouTube. But I'd be happy if you all would basically log in so we could have something going. We seem to have somebody from outside trying to crash the meeting. It's one of those things. It's something you have to put up with in Facebook, but in Zoom. So let's get going, guys. On this week we have had a plethora of sports. We have the West Indies playing South Africa. We have track and field going on, the American Olympic trials. Next week we'll have our Jamaican trials. And for the men, basically, we have a lot of football, a lot of soccer going on. I know you're watching that, watching the Euros and the Copa America, and I hope you're finding it exciting. I'm certainly not. To me, it's boring. Well, our topic this week, guys, is really how is listen, we have been brought up by strong parents. We're brought up by strong parents. And I want to know, as a parent yourself, how is your style of parenting any different from that of your mom's or your dad's? How are you parenting differently? That's what I would like to know tonight. So guys, let's see your thoughts in the comment, or if you would like to participate and say something, we can unmute you and you can say something. So guys, is your parent style the same as that of your parents? Do you find you doing things the same way? Are you becoming your parents? Or in 2021, whatever, you have changed? Is there anybody who would like to make a comment on that? Your parenting style, how does it differ from that of your parents? The way your parent did it in the 70s and 60s, how did you do it in the 90s or the 2000s? Anybody who would like to comment? I have certain headings I'd like to go through, certain little topics, just to see, guys, how we look at this thing, certain things I'd like us to talk about. For example, guys, first, let's see. When it comes to parenting, let's look at discipline. And I'll put the heading there across. Let's look at the idea of discipline. How do you approach discipline as opposed to the way your parents did it? How do you approach discipline, guys? Are you one of those disciplinarians, or do you take things easy? Is there anybody who would care to comment? How do you approach discipline? I mean, in our days, kids were to be seen and not heard. How have you done it this time around, guys? Now that you're the parent, what do you do? I'd love to hear from you. As a parent, how do you do? Would you like to make a comment? Remember, guys, comment in Zoom, please, because I can't see the comments being made on Facebook or YouTube. Is there anybody who'd like to comment? And I see most people still prefer to go to Facebook or Zoom or YouTube. And I thought everybody now would want to come over into Zoom. But when it comes to discipline, what do you think? How do you do it differently? How do you do it differently? Is there anybody who'd like to put a comment in Zoom? Anybody who'd like to comment? Like I said, in our day, a kid had to be seen and not heard. The strap was out quickly. Our parents, most of us, our parents believed in spanking. Hey, it didn't kill us. We're all here. And I would venture to say for a lot of us, it really was the difference between us being good kids and we being bad kids. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? When it comes to the disciplinary issue, how do you look at it? How do you view it? Anybody who'd like to come in and comment? I really can't see the comments being made in Facebook. Let me see if I can get onto my Facebook page here. I'd love to see what people are saying, if anybody's here at home. Okay. So yeah, looking at the Facebook stream, people like Saba, Dana is saying discipline first starts at home. Yes, Dana. Dana, I don't think anybody's gonna come to lock you up today, but Did you spank? Lenworth, did you spank? I'm looking at Lenworth saying on Facebook, back when our parents taught us how to survive and instill this values, times change. Mr. Green, Derek Green, would you mind putting a comment in Facebook? Yeah. Did you guys spank? Most of us were spanked. I think all of us were spanked. How have you approached your kids? For me, honestly, I have a son and a daughter. My daughter is in her 30s, son is in his early 20s. I don't think I've ever had to spank them. If I must say so, these two kids have been almost perfect, unlike the way I was. These two kids have been almost perfect. In fact, I was always waiting. When are they going to do something? My wife and I, we never really had to spank. All we had to do was talk with them, have a talk with them, and they toed the line. In fact, look, sometimes it was boring. But growing up, hey, spanking was the order of the day. We all got spanked. Anybody else care to make a comment? Anybody else? Checking the Facebook. Oh, Dana. Dana, you got beatings, Dana? Oh my God, Dana, such a pleasant kid like you. You were a goody goody, I'm sure, Dana. Well, I got beating, but I never did beat my two sons. Okay. One time. And I can say they turned out to be good. Okay. And please note, guys, a spanking is different from abuse, murderization. No. Sometimes they say, what's the saying? Spare the rod and spoil the child. I don't think Jamaican parents at the time did that. We would always, really be disciplinarians. But I think every one of us, most of us, got a spanking every once in a while, and it didn't really kill us. Okay, let's move on, guys. What about instilling in us work ethic? What sort of job you think our parents did with that? And how have you done it? Have you instilled that work ethic in your kid? Let me hear, what do you think? Our parents always told us, hey, a hard day's work for a good day's pay. What have you told your kids? What have you told your kids in the process, guys? How have you taught your kids about work ethic? Checking the Facebook here. Anybody? What did you teach your kids about working? I know I try, from my wife and I, we try to set a good example to let the kids see that, hey, we're getting up every day, going out to work. We are going to go out to work. And we would like them to emulate us. Not that you're going to work yourself to death, but whether you're in the States or back in Jamaica or the Caribbean, a good work ethic, a healthy work ethic was always good. By the way, guys, if you're joining us on Facebook or on YouTube, we're happy to have you. Thanks for logging in. For those of you who are brave enough to log into the Zoom meeting, I'd like to see some comments. Please, don't be afraid. Put your comments in. But a lot of people seem to be over on Facebook. If you see me with my head down, guys, I'm trying to read some of the comments on the Facebook stream. But guys, work ethic wise, how have you raised your kids when it comes to having a good work ethic? How have you raised your kids? Saba, care to say anything? We've heard from Diana. Lenworth, Mr. Green, Derek Green, what would you like to say about that? Work ethic. Did you grow your kids with a strong work ethic? Did you have them see you get up every day, go to work, take care of the bills? Anything? Nobody cares to comment? Come on, guys. I know you have a lot of thoughts here. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, well, let's move it on then. Well, with our Caribbean parents especially, education and career choice has always been a strong factor. Every Jamaican parent, especially since most of you listening may be Jamaicans, every Caribbean parent wanted their kid to be either a lawyer or a doctor. How have you manage this? Have you tried to push your kids to certain careers, or did you allow the kid to experiment, to go out and see what he or she liked? What was your experience here, guys? How have you looked at it? Did you push your kids into certain fields, or did you just allow them to go towards whatever career they were interested in? I'd love to hear from you. The people on Facebook, come on, I'd love to see your comments. I'd love to see your comments. When it comes to education and career choice, and we know our parents would always send us to school. Listen, you are gonna go to school. Maxine, glad to have you on board with us, Maxine. Glad to have you on board with us. Okay, Maxine, you are glad to have you, Maxine. Maxine, would you care to pitch in here? When it comes to education and career choice, how are you different from your parents? You can unmute and say something, Maxine, if you want to. I hope you're hearing me, Maxine. No, she's not in the mood tonight. You can put a comment in if you want to. Education-wise, how are you different from your kid, from your parent? Have you pushed education? Have you forced your kid? I wouldn't say forced. Have you encouraged your kid to go out and do the best? To go out and experiment in all different avenues, whether they want to be a lawyer, doctor, mechanic, or whatever? Or have you maintained that view from the Caribbean where you either be a lawyer, or a doctor, or a teacher? How have you looked at it? What are your views on this so far? What are your views on this? And yes, Lawrence, bigger moves. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to see some more comments from you. And Dana is saying, no, she didn't push them. Allow them to do what they want. But you know, as some parents would love to see, yes, as a parent, you know, you want your kid to excel because, you know how us Caribbean people will both say, you would want to go out and say, hey, my kid is a this, my kid is a that. But suppose that's not what the kid likes. Suppose that that's not what the kid likes. Do we allow them free rein to experiment, to go along the path they choose? So I see very few people commenting here. Oh, 1 minute, let's go again. My phone fell, guys. And we're waiting on Lawrence's comment to come up. But a lot of us adults now, we are in careers that chose us. Some of us, we're not in what we really chose, because back in the Caribbean, our options were limited. But here, KICU is this Navarro. Navarro, if you care to make a comment, you can unmute. You can unmute. Carol, you can unmute and say something if you want to. Don't be afraid, guys. Don't be afraid.
Yes, Gary.
Okay, go ahead.
I did not push none of my kids. My kids choose their profession, especially my last daughter. She chose hers from she was in primary school.
From she was in primary school? Wow. Not many kids.
She wanted to be a doctor, and she's now a doctor since 2012.
Oh man, that's great. That's great. And I gather you gave all the support and encouragement needed, right?
Yeah, our bigger sister wanted to be a vet, like her uncle. And I didn't push her. They just chose, and she's a vet in Canada.
Okay, excellent, man. Excellent. Yeah.
My son wanted to be in the military, and he's presently in the military in the States.
Okay, so you're one of those hands-off parent who you do the guiding, right? No pushing.
No, I just can't allow them to take what they have. All 6 of them has taken choices which they wanted.
How many?
Only 6, Gary.
Rotten, you wanted a football team or something?
No, I was not going to follow my father who had 24.
Hold on, stop. I lie you tell it.
You serious, Gary? My father has 22 boys and 2 girls.
22 boys and 2. Oh my God, a cricket team and a football team. Oh my God, man. Oh God, thanks for commenting, man. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. And I see Lawrence White education changed my life and created a perfect reference point for my daughter. Yes, Big, I saw on Facebook your daughter is doing great. And Emily Johnson, a job should be well done. Punctuality a must. Yeah, we're coming on to that. We're coming on to that. So, guys, in education, I'm not one of those who say, hey, push the kid. There sometimes you need to give a little nudge. Sometimes you need to nudge. Bigger moves, what's up, man? Sometimes you need to nudge in the right direction. And it works sometimes. It works sometimes a good kick in the butt. But basically, remember, I want you to remember, it's their life. It's their life, not yours, not ours. Yeah, some of us want to live vicariously through the kid, but no, at the end of the day, we have lived ours. I think we should allow them to live theirs. Okay, I want to move on to another topic. Let's see. Something like letting go. Now, be honest with me, guys. How hard is it to let go of the kid? How hard is it to let go of the kid? Especially if it's a girl. How hard is it to let go? Anybody? If it's a girl, how hard is it to let go?
Depends on how mature that young lady is to you. If your kid shows sense of responsibility early, it's not hard. It wasn't hard for me to let go of my 3 girls.
Your 3 girls. Okay, good.
All 3 of them are abroad.
That's great, man. Yeah, I believe if you have grown them the right way, if you have raised them the right way, there shouldn't be a problem. They should be able to go anywhere you want to. Anywhere
it's harder to let go of the grandkids.
The grandkids. Honestly, I can't say anything about that yet. I'm not yet a grandparent. And I see all you guys on Facebook and just showing off your grandkid and like I said.
And great grands.
And great grands. All who have grand, like we said, Jamaica, a bat. So I haven't gotten it yet. But yeah, for some parents find it hard to let go. Hard, they're always in the kid's life, even when the kid maybe has left home. And that brings up another thing. You have kids. What age should that kid be moving out of the house? What age? Bigger, what do you say? Lawrence, at what age should that kid be, say, looking to go on their own? Unmute, Lawrence, unmute. I need to hear you, Lawrence. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, man, yeah.
Well, my daughter, I tell her every day and she laugh at me and I say, I will be father for life.
You'll be father for life.
Party, but still calling and check up and all of that. So even if she's physically out of the house, she's still a part of the household.
She's still a part of the household. Okay. All right. Fair enough. My daughter there, she's locked on at the moment. She's in her 30s, and trust me, I'm in Florida and she is all the way in Pittsburgh, and she calls into mom every day. Sometimes a pain in the butt, but she calls in. I don't know if she'd want to say something. Where is she? I think she just logged off. But I'd love to hear from a kid to hear how this goes. At what age should a kid be moving out? At what age? Anybody else?
Age doesn't matter. Maturity and stability.
Maturity and stability. Ray, what do you want to say? Ray, do you care to comment, Mr. Scott? Yes, Ray, go ahead.
Greetings to all. My take on that is I think that a foundation really should be actually be helped to be made for them, because there's a phenomenon that people in their even in their churches are going back to their parents,
right?
Some hardship. So I think that if there's a level of if there's a foundation set, because it can benefit both ways. I mean, a daughter or a son can be helpful to parents, and as well as the parents are helpful to them while they're there, as long as ground rules are set. And
yep.
I think that especially for people like us I think that this younger generation don't necessarily or don't carry through the morals that we seem to have in terms of that one big word that I'm big with, respect.
Respect, okay.
And I'm gonna say this as an orphan, because I consider myself an orphan with the part of my parents who I love dearly. These sometimes I see some I see how some children talk to their parents and they don't understand. If I could just get another hour with my mother.
Oh my God.
But I think that the foundation should be really laid as long as there's that kind of respect and that kind of camaraderie with because now they're adults. So children will always, especially to the mother, they'll always be there, a child, literally. I remember my mother, for example, she would always be thinking of us like we're still her little children,
The little kids, yeah.
Just can't get out of that mode. For the mother, for the father, it's not necessarily so, but I really think that there should be a dialogue within that home to chart a path so that let them know that, listen, you can stay here instead of going out and paying rent. When you leave, for example, you can use this as an incentive. When you leave here, I want to see you purchasing a home. So you can just different things, and different you put different kind of achievements looking down the road, in order to
different milestones, right?
Right. And I think that they'll be on a solid path whereby, coming back is not necessarily coming back to live.
To live, okay. All right.
The foundation will have been made.
Wait, Ray, you mentioned something about respect. Listen, you ever call a person by their first name?
For us, we had a name for our parents, which eventually, like my father used to kick it away, where his name was Bertram, and when we really kick it, right? Well, Mass Bertie, something like that, But for it was always mother. We never said mummy or mama or whatever. It was always mother. Everybody said mother, and it was dada. So those are the two names that we call our parents. And let me tell you something, Garfield. I'm gonna say this. I had 5 sisters. I love them dearly, and they're wonderful, wonderful humans. I not because it's my sister, I can just lift my hat to them. They're wonderful women. And I had 2 brothers. I unfortunately Lance passed away. Lance followed me. But
sleep in peace, Lance.
I would say as a youth growing up, even while I was in high school at Mirzai, none of my sisters, they wouldn't do it though. But none of my sisters or my brother them couldn't really deal with my parents in a disrespectful way, because we had to deal with them, you understand? Because I was a rebel, but at the same time, I had deep love and respect for my parents. We all did.
We all did. Come on. We have a young lady here. I'd love for her to unmute her mic and answer my question here. Maxine, can I just hear you? I haven't heard it since we left high school. Let me ask something, Maxine. Do you, as a mom, find you still treat your grown kid, like a little kid? Do you ever find yourself doing that? We can't hear you, Maxine. Can't hear you. Turn on your microphone, Max. Come on, Miss Craney. Still not hearing you, Max. No, something seems to be wrong with her sound. Hold on, Maxine. Let me ask my sister here. Carol, would you unmute, please? Carol Joy. Would you unmute and just answer me here, please? Carol, are you there? But listen, even my mom, before she died, I'm a grown man, and when I go there, my mom still want to treat me like I'm 4 or 5 years old. If I would allow her to, she'd want to feed me.
And she did.
I want to know, where do women get this thing from? Yes, Carol. As a mother with a grown daughter, do you think you'll ever be able to let go? Do you think you'll, oh my gosh, she's turning on her camera. Good. Yes, Carol, do you think you'll ever be able to let go?
I would love to let go, of course, but you were the one who told me I could not let go of my mother and I had to stay forever with her. So I am torn between that now. Should I put Chantel through the door or should I listen to you?
All right. Well, we don't live together anymore, so you don't have to listen. You don't have to listen to me anymore.
Please, you stay all the way over there and run my life over here.
All right, guys. Another topic I want to move on. This one is dear to Jamaicans.
Gary, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, Maxine. Go ahead now, Maxine. Maxine.
I didn't have the headphones in my head.
Oh. Right.
Anyways, my kids are, my daughter is actually 42 and my son is 37 and they're my eyeballs. But I always tell them, you know, they always say, train up a child in the way they should grow. And when they get old, they will not depart from it, right? So that's what I did with my kids. But it's always hard to let go.
To let go.
Yeah, it's very hard to let go, but you know, you have to, because you have to let them live their life, you know, from the examples that you have set.
You have set, okay?
Yes.
Good. That's true. Now, guys, something I want to ask you now. Listen, this topic is dear to most Jamaicans. When it comes to religion, how are you? Listen, we were brought up in the church, Sunday school, service, Vacation Bible School, prayer meeting. We were there. How do you view today's kids when, because of science or whatever, some of them may depart from what you're trying to bring them up in? How do you accept that? How do you handle that when you have a kid who will tell you that, look, church, nah. And as we know, worldwide, religion is on the way basically down. Churches are being emptied now. Anybody wants to take that one on? Religion. Who wants to take a stab at that? See if anybody on Facebook.
Gary.
Yeah.
What has happened with education and based on the level of study, the exposure and all that, people tend to see things a bit different, because my daughter is more spiritual than religious.
Okay.
I came from the old school where I used to go Bethel Church in Highgate, and I could never be late, eh?
Late, you man?
yeah, I could never be late, you know? And then when you reach a stage that you start tertiary level institution, you find that a Sunday morning, which would normally be a church morning, might be a study morning for them.
Right.
So you are more hopeful that they will stay the course, and you lend the support, rather than telling them that this is a natural part of your everyday existence.
Okay. That is so true. That is so true. Miss Plummer, welcome. Molly, here's what I'm asking. Religion. We were brought up in the church. How does a parent deal with it today when a child is like unwilling to go or not a believer in the way we were? Do you care to comment on that, Molly? If you care to, you can unmute and let's hear you. But we're glad to have you on, Molly. Mary. You want to say anything, Mary? You can unmute. Yes, go ahead.
Not yet.
Come on, right? Yes, but yeah, that is something we're fighting against. Like Lawrence said, with education, kids look at things through another lens. In fact, when we were growing up, basically it was the only game in town. Is school and church. Now I think they have so many distractions that I guess it must be hard for a kid to actually believe something he or she can't see. Anybody else would care to comment on that? Ray, what do you think?
I think there's definitely a paradigm shift where these children are concerned these days. I think they're more exposed because of especially technology.
Uh-huh.
So we we did not have the at their fingertip they can plus peer pressure. The peer pressure is not positive because as much as Sarge, as much as, for example, I'm gonna go there. As much as you were flying under the radar, cause you're a big troublemaker from Lanka. People have to know it.
You don't know.
So, but the trouble, for example, that we get ourselves in, and I can point the finger at myself. I thinking about these children these days. Sometimes it's like I was a choir boy compared to
Compared to
yeah. So as much as give them that upbringing and Maxine alluded to the fact that you grow them up in the admonition of the Lord and they will not depart from it. But I see a lot of them really do crazy things still. And again, like I said, I think it has to do a lot with how they're so exposed and a lot of their innocence is really being taken away.
Yeah.
Peer pressure. So it's a tougher struggle these days for parenting children. I don't think our parents really suffered like these nowadays parents really. Not even I think not even us, I think even it's younger parents than us are having a hard time.
All right, that's true. All right, guys. What about social awareness? When it comes to social awareness, how do we handle that? I mean, do we teach our kids everything that's going around? I mean, when it socially, politically, everything. Do we talk to them? In fact, before we even touch on that, did our parents talk with us or talk at us? What was it like, guys? What do you think? Did they talk with us or did they talk at us? How was it for you? Anybody?
It was never about talking with us, It was talking to us when I was growing up. I remember, early days in St. Mary. Unfortunately, my aunt was a teacher, so sometimes when you slip up, you get a beating, but the beating wasn't what you do today. It's so much you remember about last week. You understand?
Yeah. It was like a bank account. My dad told me it's a bank account. Deposits
So
months ago and no withdrawal.
yes, so part of it has to do with they have technology, they have social media, they have information at their fingertips. They are in the university, they're exposed to different cultures, different ways of life because you have different lecturers with different mindsets.
Mindset, true.
Yeah, So what I think is that maybe we had it wrong, and they have it right.
All right.
Yeah, because when I was growing up, I remember asking my aunt after church, what color is God? But I didn't tell her that I was listening to some youth before. And she said, my partner got business. No, that type of discussion with my daughter now is at a different level.
At a different level.
Different appreciation. Yes, So it's a different era.
It's a different era because look, I consider myself to be well read. And honestly, I sometimes can't even get in a conversation with my son. Because the level he's at, I'm like, I didn't learn them things till I was in my 40s.
Yes, yes, yes.
Barely out of his teen years, and they're way ahead when it comes to social things like justice, politics, and our history. These kids are so far ahead. And as a parent, I try to, talk with him as much as possible. Try and talk with him as much as possible. But we are, I don't know, like you said, they may have it right. We may be the ones who have it wrong. We may be the ones who have it wrong. Now, guys, another thing. Friends. Show me your friends, and I'll tell you who you are. Our parents drill that into us. Our parents drill that into us. As a parent today, do you care to know who your child's friends are? And I must say, Lenworth took me to task on Facebook for calling children kids. Lenworth, no insult, no harm meant, okay? Just a phrase. Yes. Do you care to know who your child's friends are? Anybody?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah,
How much do you want to know?
a lot. And I'm closely knit, probably because I'm closely knit with my kids.
Uh-huh.
And they will come, and their friends will come here, and then I will go to Texas, and my son friends will pick me up and so forth. So actually, I keep grounded. I've seen certain things happen in my family where relatives have allowed their kids to have friends without background check. One end up in a prison, son junkie, and one is no longer with us because of the friendship he kept. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Wrong time.
So I was growing that way too.
You're going that way.
So I keep it that way. I'm closely knit with my kids.
Close with them.
As much
Marie,
as
what you
they
say?
are far.
All right. True Navarro. Marie, what you say, Marie? Time no, Marie. Come on. How much do you want to know, Marie? Do you want to know your kid's friends, your child's friends? Is that
Yes,
important?
I have one daughter, but I can control. I try to I can control. I can control.
When you say you can't control, what do you mean?
They want to make their own decision, so there's all you can do is guide them.
Right. That's what. Okay. You have to give your guidance. Ray.
I'm in agreement with Navarra because from experience and also from listening to other parents, I know parents who don't mind it costing them to feeding these children because they want, instead of their children going about the place to friends' home, she'd rather have the friends in her home so that
Of course.
you can watch mannerism and how they behave, and then she can say, well, you gotta check that friend. I don't think that friend behavior or attitude is right. And that's the only way you're gonna know, because you have. Let me tell you something. They spend a lot of time with their friends.
Right.
So if they spend the time with their friends in school and then they're out of school, but they will spend it in your home, there's some amount of guidance that you can give to them, and just your presence will allow them to not go overboard at times, So I think that it's a wise thing when you embrace other children like that in your home. You can keep tabs on them.
Keep tabs on what's happening, right?
You really care to do that, but children are very experimental and adventurous, so they will go out there and do things, and the next thing you know is you get knocked on your door from police or whatever. Whereas if you had encouraged the fact that let friends come by and visit them, I think that's a healthier way to grow your children. And whoever told you about this kid business, I can never refer to children as kids. I don't do that. I think that we have gone away from the precepts of God, to be honest with you. And anytime somebody can go from Genesis to Revelation to me, children were called kids, then I probably will think about.
All right. We'll have to talk about that one day. Wait, that leads me to something else.
Yeah.
There are some parents who want to be their child's friends. Is that ever the case with you guys? Do you want to be a friend, or must that child know that you're a parent, or there's a time for to be a friend?
There's an intertwine. You have to be your kid's best friend.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be your kid's best friend. But based on how you're going, there's respect and love where they go.
Okay.
If you are not your kid's best friend, you won't know what your kids are doing. You're not able to relate with them.
You open it up for somebody else to be that friend.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. That's what you're saying. I see what you're saying, man. Now, back again to another topic. When it comes to us growing up, you eat what was provided. You ate what was provided.
Are doing
How do you see this thing today? Where the choice that they have, man. Have you ever been in the supermarket in the cereal aisle? I said, remember when we were growing up, it's only cornflakes. No, have you seen the choice they have? How do you do it with your kids? Do you have them eat whatever they want? Do you buy them what they want? Or is it, look, I provide this, you're going to eat it? Maxine.
Nutritious.
What do you say, Maxine?
Yeah, when they were younger, right? Whatever I bought, they had to eat. But when they get of age where they can buy what they want, that's fine.
That's fine.
And then, I'm telling you something, Gary, like living out where I live, it was pure white food. It was like out in Saskatchewan.
Oh, you're in Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Okay.
My cousin them in the States asked me if we have igloo out here.
I don't know.
Because they think that it's that cold, yes, whatever. But we have all the seasons. But yeah, it's now that we're getting like the Caribbean food. It's more popular now because we have a lot more Caribbean people out here that that came out here in the past couple of years. But like in the 80s, the late 70s, 80s, we couldn't find like green banana and all them things.
You have to eat linguine and all that.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so whatever I bought when they were young, they adopted to that, and then afterwards they were on their own. Yeah.
Lawrence, where is it, Lawrence? How you look at that? Eat what is provided.
My thing was slightly different. Moving from rural Jamaica, and my daughter was born in Portmore, is a paradigm shift in terms of exposure experience. When I was in St. Mary, when banana in season or breadfruit, you eat that until the crop finish. That's how I grew up. When cabbage plant, you eat cabbage till the crop finish. That's how I grew up.
Yeah.
When I tell my daughter about this, she asked me, Daddy, where are you going with all of this stock? You understand? And having choice is not necessarily a bad thing.
A bad thing, okay.
Because to be able to provide a choice, a different type of environment for your child to grow is a plus. Wasting food and abuse now is something that you don't tolerate. Because they say they want something you bite, you're not going to throw it away.
You don't want to eat it.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a different generation, a different time.
Different time.
You're going, even sometime when we used to go in the Navi and myself and JC, right?
Yeah, man.
In our time, it was just red stripe beer and Guinness. Now, if you go in the aisle of the supermarket,
yes,
you walk around and look before you pick up because the choices are so wide.
Limitless, man. Limitless.
Yeah. So you allow them and they earn the right feet. When kids hold up their end of the bargain, they're entitled to that type of leeway.
All right. Brody, welcome, man. Brody, what you say? Back when we were growing up, you ate what was provided. How have you done it with your kids?
Well, greetings.
Yeah, man.
They eat what I provided them. I used to run like on Fridays, they'll get what they want.
Okay.
But during the week, you get what I cook.
And I know
But
you.
really, most of the time, it's with consultation with them too, you know. What would you like, you know?
How do you like? Okay, good. You can.
Like that. We weren't a big going out to eat family like that. We enjoyed what we cooked, you know. Unlike when I was growing up, it's like you get what is there, you know.
You better eat it too.
It's either you go eat it or you're gonna find some fruit on the fruit place I eat. That go otherwise.
Brother, since you came in late, something I want to ask you. As a youngster, did you get spanked?
Did I what?
Did you get spanked?
Of course.
Man, with all wet rag and all them things too. I remember once I went to the river and we were supposed to go river that day, right? And we got beard now, but we take off my trunks, but my brief did wet. So when we come home now, Mama said, "You go to river?" I said, "No, Mama." And the wet brief I showed through the pants already, you know. And she take the wet bathing pants when we have and slap me straight across my face 2 times and I forgot find a one corner, you know. So, yeah, 1 and 2 slap along. I remember once too, I was supposed to go to, you know, the special classes in the morning. In college scholarship class. And I didn't go to class that morning. And during the recess time, I was playing marble. You know, the yard, I feel my back get drip from back. And my belt get taken off, I get some licks, you know.
Well, that's...
Yeah.
Well, somebody's mic is making some noise.
Yeah, I remember maybe I must slap one of them, maybe, you know, once or twice. But I wasn't a big hitting person because I never condone that.
Okay, good. Yeah, man, something else, guys. When it comes to meals, not just meals, culture. How much of your own culture do you instill in your child? All right, basically, we all here are Jamaicans. How much of the Jamaican culture do you instill in your kid? I mean, Lawrence, you're still in JA. Ray, what you say, Ray? How much of our culture do you really instill in the kid?
As much as possible, you know, because honestly, I just can't get the Jamaican out of me, you know.
True.
So it's just a thing where they, as much as they're Americans, you know, they pretty much know the Jamaican way of life. And you know, they might like the Jamaican food at times. I noticed that them like them Yankee food, so to speak. So you know, it like Lawrence, because you're able to provide it. Because I learned one thing from my father. You know, my father used to tell me, say, not force nobody to eat to them, force them to work, but they're not forced them to eat. And so where that is concerned, and let me just touch on this where beating is concerned. My father might have beaten me 3 or 4 times at the most.
A bad youth like you?
Yeah, but him not beat people too much, you know. But when him beat you, you stay beat. Yeah, man. My mother beer rum and rub you up and all that. My father was serious, man. When it comes, if you look on some tree limb and say, go cut that and bring it home.
And bring it.
Yeah, and the smallest one. You know, go back. I know that in my talk. I'm cut all 2, 3 before, you know. and leave the leaf on it because you say, boy, the leaf. He said, no, man. He said, strip it. Hey, my father was a calculator, a cool person in that regard, you know. I'm strip it, you know, by leaf and get a bus ass, me I tell her that time. But you know, it's out of love still, you know. So, you know, because tell you what, you know, I look at my life and to this day, the only time police talk to me is maybe for traffic violation. You understand? So you know, I kind of look at how my peers that I grew up with is that very many who really go through the penal system, you know. I think that it is as a result of the upbringing that we get, meaning that we, you know, our parents them really, you know, spare the rod and spoil us really. So I think that some people think that it is abuse, but you know, you're sending people in the corner, you know, go time out, whatever. That doesn't really make sense to me, to be honest.
Well, there are parents here who go to your room and the kid has every blinking thing in that room.
Yeah.
So it's not a punishment. Go to your room and the kid, you name it. So, Maxine, when it comes to food, up in Saskatchewan with your kids, how are they with the Jamaican food? Is it something they like or what?
Oh, they love it. They love it. Yeah, because I try to cook that throughout their lifetime. And like right now, they eat it more than I do right now.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I find my kids, like my son, oxtail and all, he loves it. My daughter,
yes.
ackee and saltfish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, man. It is one of those things that, you know, you guys, another topic I'd love to go into. Relationships. You know, us Caribbean parents, we have a way of looking at things that, guys, let me confess to you, even after I got married, I was afraid to hold my wife's hand or hug my wife in front of my mother or my mother-in-law. I was deathly afraid of that. How do compared to what our parents, how our parents viewed? Remember when you're watching TV back in them days and on the TV, a couple kissing, you don't turn away your face or something like this. But how do you guys look at it today? Anybody? Lawrence, you have a lovely daughter there. How do you, if your daughter say, Daddy, this is my boyfriend, what do you do? You shock?
Well, them knows I said where I come from, so I have my kids.
So the mash chap.
Yeah. But having said that, it's a different dispensation we into, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because if my daughter and her boyfriend was, well, she's driving now, but before she started driving, I used to drop them at the movie and my son I car and sleep till the movie done.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah, you know. That's a level of trust and understanding we have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but at the same time, we make her very aware in terms of, say, in every dispensation, you have stages, you have limits, and you always reassess where you're coming from and where you are now, if it makes sense.
Okay.
You know, because
but I never heard of
what I sad thing about me is that everything in life has to make sense.
Hey, you're an accountant, right?
Rational.
You're an accountant, right?
No, man, we're cooking.
No, may I ask if he's an accountant?
No,
man, me not accountant. You know, say me agricultural banker.
Right, but because it's only accountant, me know say everything have to make sense.
Yeah. And she always remind me, say, Daddy, everything no have to make sense.
Right.
But me say, as a parent, everything have to make sense.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Navi.
Yeah.
How do you look at that? Relationships with the kids' relationships, whether they're gonna have a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Well, my one, I was more open than my parents.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, as Larry said, my daughters used to say, Daddy, come drop me a party, no? And when we go to party, they were different. And we find somebody there and say, go take care of my daddy for me. And I'm outside having a drink or so, and then they had them picnic party, and then from daddy sit down and talk to somebody.
Okay.
That one of them friend mother or one of them friend father or somebody.
Okay.
And so them always make sure that then daddy is taking care of while them take care of themselves.
Oh,
When they
okay.
start drive, it was free for all. But when we grew them, I trust. The trust was there. And especially the last little baby one. She's no longer a baby, she's 30 what? 36?
And you got her baby, right?
Yeah, because she said she's there about, she know move to Belize again.
Okay.
And she called me and said, Daddy, do something. And I said, it's going to cost X and Y. When are you going to pay me? She said, Daddy, babies don't pay bill.
Okay.
So that's the type of thing we have.
All right. Okay.
And then she said, you with them, you say, you know what, them used to call her a UWI. UWI, virgin.
Oh my.
She drives a 6 shift. So anytime the guys them start trouble her, she just take her vehicle and park it crossway, they driveway and throw the key get them. Most of them cannot move it. That's a 6 shift.
Okay. And guys, I see entering the room is Miss Carolyn. Carolyn, welcome. Now, Carolyn, I'm going to throw this question at you. I want you to answer me.
Why you throw no question at me?
Listen, make sure you might, don't bother come with that attitude. Carolyn, I know you have 5 daughters, right? Now, listen carefully. Your daughter come home. What was it like the first time one of them tell you you have a boyfriend? What was it like?
Tell me what?
That she has a boyfriend.
No. Here's I need him. Yeah, I need him.
What was it like?
I didn't have an attitude. Because they come home and tell me they have a boyfriend.
Okay, so you were okay with it?
To be honest, most of them who told me they had a boyfriend is after college. That's the honest truth.
Okay.
The two that had boyfriend before pretty much was scared.
Anybody afraid of you, Carolyn, right? Oh, yes. For those listening, guys, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, we're here talking about how does your parenting style differ from that of your parents?
Yeah,
I mean, we're brought up back home in the Caribbean, different era, different time. We just want to know how you look at it differently. How is it different for you?
But voila. You know, we'll look at the irony here. At this stage of my game, right? Would I like some grand pitney, no?
Would I like some, all right?
Right? But at the same time, now, you make sure you try to make sure so your daughter they don't have no put in a position to have any. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Is that tricky?
When you reach my age now, I have too little pitney for worry about because me not worry about those again.
Okay.
You understand? But what? Everybody look after career now and things like that.
Come here.
So you still want, you know, well after learning now, you realize that you should be more, you know, be more
fruitful, right?
Easier upon the kids as you go along.
Ray, what about you? Are you a granddad yet?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a grandson. But you know, the thing about that is I learned from some of the best, you know. In my I'm in the short world and I used to carry some very affluent and well-to-do people. Some of these grandparents used to just say, listen, I got like 2 or 3 or whether 4 children and they have start their family. And I got let's say they live in New York, they have a getaway home, a beach house in Florida. They said they just go to one of their children, grab their grandchildren, take them to that beach house and have fun with, spoil the hell out of them and give them back. That's how they do it. That's what grandparents do. Grandparents don't discipline children.
Wait,
Grandparents
why is that so? Why is that so? You would bring up your kid strictly, but your grandchild gets cut a lot of slack. Why?
It's a different feel, you know. Those grandchildren are not really yours to discipline, you know. So you want to make sure it's for your children who are their parents to discipline them. So no, you cross that stage of life. All you want to do now is just dote on those grandchildren and, you know, spoil them, give them whatever, give them more candy that they should get. Whatever.
No, Gary, no, Ray. I have 10, 11 now, and I don't spoil them.
Yeah, well, you're.
I am the disciplinarian, you know.
You're the exception to the rule.
To the rule.
I spoil them with things, but when it comes to that thing, Kind of just look for me and I don't beat. I just hide.
Yeah.
I hear my granddaughter say, Papa, don't give me that look. I was just only kidding.
Yeah.
My biggest grandson, my granddaughter, who is 28. She just have a son. And when she meet this guy up Alabama, she called Marcia, that is her stepmother, and call me and say, Daddy, I needed to talk to him, XYZ. And that's the granddaughter.
Okay.
My grandson who is a fireman, just 3 days ago, him sit down right at my office door right or so. Something went down and I called him and said, I need to talk to you. And by the time I said, who there? Him come up. And we start about what was going down. And that's it.
Okay, good. Good, man. Good relationship. Let me ask you guys something. Growing up, if you had a mom and dad, a lot of us in our time grew up with a single parent. Who was the disciplinarian? Was it mom or was it dad? Lawrence, let me start with you. Disciplinarian, who was?
Well, my biological parents are from St. Ann, but I grew with my aunt in St. Mary. When I go St. Ann now, where my mother and father is, the mother used to be the St. Ann. She would say, Mr. White, you know, call the boy, I know he'll come to you. A man in turn for you. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. She used to, but at the same time, if the punishment get overboard, she run to your rescue, you know?
She run to your rescue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brody.
But the father always, I would say, make more sense. But him have a greater level of understanding. While the mother is a bit impatient.
He's a bit impatient.
Especially with boys.
Brody, what about you, Brody? Who was the disciplinarian, mom or dad?
Well, mama was the strict one, but Papa was like, Papa, to me, Papa the depend delay. Like you do something this week, hear nothing about it, till next week, now when you feel everything gone and cool, you get all a slap on your head, see. So, Mama would tell him like as Larry did I say, like I set on, but him no bite the same time,
Okay.
No, when you feel say you get away with it, no, that is when you get
Why are fathers like that? Because I did some stuff and I figured that, oh my God, I'm dead. And for that week, my father don't say nothing. 3-4 weeks down the road. No, seriously, when I said 3-4 weeks, 2 months down the road, he'll call you. And he's like, yes, Dad was sick. And he's like, remember when you did so? And you want Daddy, do you remember that? And then you but the funny thing about it was that the things you expected to get beat for.
Yeah.
Because I remember once, one of my funniest memories was my father come on the back of the house and catch me and smoke a pack of cigarette. I smoking one, and I see the shadow come up beside me. And I look and, oh God, I'm dead. And I'm getting ready now to get up to go take me beating. And he said, no, put him hand on my shoulder and said, no, man, light another one. And what? Light another one? Yeah, I light up the other one and I hurrying to smoke it now because I know the beating coming. And he said, no, when I done that, light another one. And I remember it was, with the cigarette name, 4 Races.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he made me smoke the whole pack. He made me smoke the whole pack.
Change your mind.
I vomit for the rest of the day. Vomit for never. Listen, that mean I was about 10 or something like that. Never touch a cigarette again. But I don't know why, but in my family, I would rather do something and get beat by my dad than for my mom to start the nagging and, you let me down and just beat me and get it over with. Just beat me and get it over with. Maxine, how was it for you? Who was disciplinarian?
I actually grew up with my grandaunt.
So
yeah, but when I migrated to Canada when I was 17, it was my mother.
Okay. Okay. I see
Yeah,
Miss
yeah, she was very, very, very strict.
Very strict.
Yeah.
And for you mothers, listen, the first child you have on a tight rein. And as you get more and more kids, you lose stuff. Why? Why is it that wash belly one get to do anything they want? Any explanation, Maxine?
I only had two, so.
You only had two. Okay, but
they were 4 years apart, but yeah, I was kind of harder on my daughter
on the first
than my son. Yeah, my son is the baby, so. But like now, they're okay now.
Because even now, my daughter's in her 30s, my son is like 22. My daughter still, and she'll never forget, Dad, you never made me go to a party. And now I'm with my son, I'm going to darn where I want. Is it because we have that unconscious thing about growing up boys with more freedom than girls, or what? What is it? Anybody?
I guess my fear was pregnancy was one big thing for me.
Okay.
And I didn't want my daughter to follow in my footsteps because I had her when I was younger. So I didn't want her to follow in my footsteps. Okay. So that was like a fear for me. But growing up and then having my son afterwards, I kind of looked at it differently and gave them more freedoms. And, actually it was, I have to say, okay, right now I'm 60, but all in my 50s, I was partying with my kids. Yeah, we were just having fun. But I know I put it in perspective though. Like, yeah, okay, not because I'm here partying with you, that means you can say and do anything in front of me.
Right.
But you still have to build that relationship with your kids, And as what you were talking about before is that you have to give them that open door that whatever they want to talk about with you, they can freely come and talk about it instead of going outside and getting the wrong information.
Right. Okay, that's true. Guys, before we go on, one question I'd like to ask. If you could speak to your parents now, I mean, some of us parents have passed, but if you could give your parents advice, what is it you'd say to them? Let's say you could go back yourself now, go back and give them some advice. What would you say to your parents? Brody, you wanna start off with that, Brody? Unmute. You muted, Brody.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
First thing when I said, Papa, you drink too much rum. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Remember, in those days, we just thought rum was here to kill worms, right?
Yeah, but Papa, him drunk from Thursday right back to Monday, man.
From Thursday.
Yeah. When I tell him, drink too much rum.
Drink too much rum. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else? Ray, what would you really say?
He's going blurry.
Yeah, I can experience the same thing with my father. That's another reason why I take the approach and say, I've always been that kind of person that I would never want to drink like my father drank.
True that.
So I go to different settings, parties, whatever. And it's funny, I can buy my friends any amount of drink they want to buy, but they can't buy me because I'm not drinking, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I go and I just drink some cranberry juice or drink water. That's just, you know, because I just never wanted to walk down that path because every weekend him drunk, and when him drunk, him is a madman.
Yeah.
So you know, he was a wonderful father, but when him in the drunken stage, you see a different person, you know. So that is one of the things that I, you know, if we had to revisit that, then yes, we definitely would have to talk, you know.
All right. Lawrence, what would you say?
I that tell himself first sell out a country and come a town. Apartheid, Gary. It was 7 of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
7 of us were in high school, college, or university. My daddy was a farmer, and my mother with ends meet. So just imagine, you know, have no relative at all, it make it hard. So a lot of youth in my time, we could have probably achieved tertiary level education because you're so far in a deep rural Jamaica, you just settle for high school and go look at work at parish council or public works. One of them places that was opportune at the time. You know, if we had a foundation in Kingston where we could have lived and go college, like more youth from rural Jamaica would have attained tertiary level education at our time.
Good point. That's true. That's true. Is Val, are you listening there? Would you care to comment, Val? Miss Val Grant Hamilton, would you care to comment? If you could go back now and talk to your parents, what advice would you give them?
That's a great question. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, good evening, Val.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I grew up a little bit with my mom until I was about 9 years old, and then my dad got custody, and then I lived with my dad after that. I probably would say, don't be so abusive. That's what I would.
Hold on, Val. Was it abuse or just a spanking or two?
Oh no, it was abusive. Trust me. It was abusive with my mother. And because of that, my daddy got custody of all the kids. And when I went with my dad, he was for education. He was very, you know, quite a disciplinarian. He was a no-nonsense father, but trust me, if you cross the line, you end up in sick bay at school. Many days I end up in sick bay.
And how did that shape your life for the future? How did that shape you? Where you are today?
So it did help me in a way that the party scene, I never was a party goer. Okay. I always feel like by 10 o'clock I have to be in the house until I was well over 40 years old.
Wow.
I have to be back home. So I could tell you how many times I went to a club my entire life, maybe 5 or less than 5. You know, so I wasn't this party girl. And then I grew to appreciate it because with my father, especially because if he had given me full reign, then I don't know what would have happened.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So I come to appreciate it. And I would just say to be less abusive in the way that they disciplined us. Less abusive.
As a mom, did you spank?
I did, but I was no, I didn't spare the rod, but I didn't do what my parents did. I made sure I give it in the hand or on the backside, laying on the bed. If you're laying on the bed and I'm going on your backside, you know you did something serious, or in your hand. I didn't do it the same way how my parents did because you got it everywhere and anywhere.
Come
on now. Come on now. I'm sure all of you can relate to it because we're the same era, right?
Yeah, can relate.
So trust me, I didn't want to give that to my kids. I want them to know, and I didn't spank them when I was angry either.
Right. That's one of the main things.
Because you know you experience that, and you don't want to pass that on to the next generation. But you also, I don't want to spare the rod and spoil the child either.
That's true.
You're gonna know there's a consequence, and you're gonna know that I'm mad at you. I'm not pleased with your behavior.
Okay.
Gary,
Yes, Lawrence, go ahead.
I think what we thought was discipline then was really serious abuse, because I went to get primary school. Brother know me from a little boy. And some teacher give 2 lick for one wrong word, not spell it. Not right, Yeah. And this trap sometimes there's one shoemaker make the leather belt. And sometimes him take long to make the leather belt, him cut piece of motor tire and give the teacher to work with until the belt ready. And yeah, some youth I was above average, you know what I mean? But you have some youth where so if you get 20 spelling, them now get none right, that 2 lick for one wrong word. And the whole class I get beaten. So sometimes what we call discipline then, a serious abuse when the tail is strap catching their back. We have to be, 2 days time when the cold water reaches.
Wait, let me ask you guys something. You guys ever got beat by a parent, and when you get beat and you ball, them say, what you balling for?
You want me to give something for cry for? You want me to give something for cry for?
We are crying.
Give something for cry for?
Oh my God!
There was this teacher man in Caranal named Mr. Extar. Him use a ass rain.
Oh my God!
He call it the trumpet. Now, when him tell you to put out your hand, when it hit you, the tail will catch you little above your wrist. And it raise like it take the form of the ass rain. Man, sometime when him come over you, man, and him big and tall, when him come over you, man, and I put it on over your back, somebody, you want to look on it now and say you're not disciplined, but somebody told the abuse, man.
Abuse. Wait, hold on, guys. We're welcoming, who is this? Is this Ray? But I see him have some fancy name there. Is it? What is that, Ray? Is that Korean or what?
That is a Chinaman, Garfield.
Yeah, I mean,
that's Korean. That's Korean.
That's Korean. Okay. Ray, welcome. Ray, we're going fast in your business. How many kids you have, Ray?
One, Gary, one.
All right. Well, okay, Ray, compared to the way your parents raised you, how did you raise this kid?
No letting up, the same way.
Same way, hard. Okay. The boy or girl?
Well, the amount of whipping that I got, he didn't get it because when I tried to keep him in line, make sure that what I say goes, Okay. But I didn't beat him that much, but I just make sure that the things that I expect of him to do, he does, So that was kind of the escape. I didn't really I was stern, but I did not apply the whip as much.
All right. Wait, in terms of say religion, the way we were brought up in church, I know you are a Seventh-day Adventist man. Did your kid stick to that, or a lot of us have kids who are no longer church people who have departed from that because of education, science, or whatever? How was it with you?
Well, actually, my kid was, he only spent a few years with me because his mother was in the States.
Okay.
So he moved to the States to be with his mom. And he attended church until maybe in his 20s.
In his 20s. Mm-hmm.
Now he just visits when he feels like.
No, he visits when he... Okay, yep. What about education and career choice? Did you push your kids into certain careers or you allowed them to choose? Sorry for using the word kids, Raymond.
Well, on the educational aspect of it, I gave him an option. Mm-hmm. School is an option, not necessarily what he wants, what I want him to do. But school was an option. Mm-hmm. You need to go to school. You don't need to laze around. You have to get an education. But I did not force him to do what I feel like he should do. His mom wanted him to be a doctor. Mm-hmm. And I told her, no, let him choose what he wants to do. If he wants to do medicine, fine. If he doesn't want to, let him do. So I end up doing computer science. He's in computer science, you know. So the choice that I had for him was different from what his mother wanted for him.
Different.
But I didn't force him to do, you know, nothing.
Same question to Val. Val, when it comes to career choice, how much of a part did you play in it? Did you push them or you allowed them to choose?
I did allow them to choose. I let them know that whatever you choose, I will support you.
You'll support, okay? Mm-hmm.
But once you make a decision and you make a choice that this is what you're going to do, you're not a quitter. So you have to stay the course and be committed to it. But, you know, if they go on to college and they have to switch major or whatever, you know, because they're now feeling it and tasting it and seeing, well, this is not for me, but I'm going to support you. And I couldn't just very well say, you got to do this, you got to do that. I recognize the fact that children need to have a voice and they need to make their own choices, especially becoming adults. So I can't push them into what I want them to do.
Let me ask you guys.
Allow them.
All right. Let me ask you guys an honest question. Start with Navarro. Navarro, let's pick an age. Let's say 19. Compare you at 19 with your kids at 19. Do you think they're smarter than you or you were smarter? Be honest.
That's a fair question.
Unmute Navarro.
I think they think they're smarter.
Yes, Navarro. Wait, hold on. Yes, Navarro. Go ahead. 19 years old.
Smarter than me.
In what way, Navi?
Much smarter than me.
In what way?
In terms, okay. I should say, in terms of knowledge where they are concerned, because although I was a bit bright as people would say who go to school with me, they were more an A student than me who was a B student.
Do you think if you had if you had what they have today, how do you think you'd have turned out? Do you think you'd have been further ahead?
Probably not enough. Because actually, I had gotten a scholarship to go, I had wanted to be medicine. Then I changed to accounts. And I had gotten a scholarship to go to CAS. That time it was CAS?
Yeah.
And at the same time I did my entrance to JC. And my wedding, they look for me and say, you're going to banking for them, they set you up and send you to prison. And looking at JC at that time, when you graduate from JC, you could have picked up anything. You could turn pass, whatever, the profession. And I got a job 3 weeks before I leave JC. I did an interview and them days there, JC people were the top. You get that job long before you leave. So I took JC. My bigger brother went to JC. He's now a professor at Delaware State, supposed to be retiring this year. And so that's why I took agriculture. Okay. But I don't think I would, if I had what they had now, I would have changed.
Okay, good point, sir. Maxine, what do you think? Suppose you had what they have. Compare yourself at 19 with your kid at 19.
I had my daughter at 19, Gary.
But do you think your 19-year-old is smarter than you at 19?
I think so, yeah. And I think it's just from seeing what I've been through. Yeah, she, more or less says, no, that's not where she's going to be.
All right.
So, and my son, oh yeah, he thinks he's smart in everything.
You think he's smart in everything?
Oh yeah.
What do you think, Brady? You're 19 smarter than you at 19?
With information at them fingertips, they are more learned, I would say. I would say they're smarter because, me was a street youth, so I know a lot of things. But with the information now that is available now at your fingertip, maybe, I don't know, I really love farming, so I think I would stick to that. But yeah, them kids are a little more learned.
All right.
them still fool though.
Educated don't.
Some things when you see them do, you wonder.
All right, yeah.
You wonder, you know, when we spend this money for. Them more learned. I would say learn, not smarter.
Not smarter. All right. Lawrence, what do you think, Lawrence?
At a similar age, my daughter will be light years ahead of me. She's bright, exceptionally brilliant, but not street smart.
Not street smart, right? They don't have the street smart.
You know, we had a discussion with her when she was about to win. But I asked her if she ever used a slide rule for the calculation. Not more than 30% of our Jamaican population ever use a slide rule.
Slide rule, true.
Yeah. True. And she said, what is a slide rule? I'm going to go online, I'm going to show her. I'm going to say, you have the scientific calculator, I used to use a slide rule to do all of this, you know?
Yeah.
And she went online and she went overseas all day. She brought back a slide rule and started practice with it. You know? So the kids them nowadays much more advanced than we were. Them have everything at them disposal. We work like crazy to ensure that they achieve everything that the potential can allow them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Early days, we're more about balancing the equation.
Mr. Scaff. Yeah. Mr. Scaff, what do you think, Mr. Scaff? Yes, Rick.
I'm actually, I have the same answer as Brady and Lawrence. Yeah, because you know what? They're right, you know, a lot of educated fool out there are educated dunce. I would like to think that they're way smarter than I am at the age of 19. But I am way more street smarter than they are. And also I think one of the things though that I learned to appreciate with going to school, we had to show how we arrived at
the answers.
You understand? These multiple choice that they have also helped them. Because you have A to E answer, and I guarantee that 3 of the 5 are way off. So they can just literally guess 1 out of the 2. You know?
Yeah,
so
you're right. But when I came up here and was finishing my degree, the first testing given, I said the multiple choice. I asked man, wait, this is the test? Him say yes. And I said, but you have the answer right here. Because multiple choice is not something we used to, you know?
Right. So yeah, but you know, they have the technology ahead of us. We didn't have what they have. They have everything at their fingertips, you know. So yeah, they're very smart and they're exposed. They're way more exposed than we were at our young tender age, you know. So you know, hey, all right, Gary, I remember, you remember how even the 6 farmers used to quiz, I don't know if you remember, it's a Cargill son, what's his name again? Keith was brilliant as a little youth, you know?
Yep.
Oh God, I remember we used to have crowd around him and they used to like quiz him, ask him certain questions.
Yep, brilliant.
And he had answers. He was brilliant as a and how old was he then? I don't even think he was 10 then. You know,
yeah, he wasn't 10 yet.
He was going to prep school. Yeah.
Wait, let me ask you. Wait. Yeah, go ahead.
But in answering your question, I think because of how they are exposed and what they have at their fingertips, it made them pretty smart.
Okay. Is Carol still there? Carol, are you listening? Carol Joy, are you still there? Okay, he's not there. Let me ask Val. Vala, 19-year-old Val, compared to your kid at 19. Who is smarter?
Boy, I think I was definitely smarter. I had to find my way, trust and believe.
Okay.
But at 19, my kids were still my kids. I didn't have nobody to shelter me and you know, make me ready to go out there and all that. I had to go out there and go figure life out.
Okay.
Yeah, so 19-year-old me was definitely smarter and more driven than my 19-year-old children. Because at 19, they were just entering college and, you know, still knowing that mom and dad is at home and that kind of thing. I didn't have that.
You didn't have you didn't have that. Any of you have kids who try using brain on you?
What do you? What? If I try to use my brain on my parents, so I always say I never gave birth to angels because I was not one.
Valid hard to think of you.
Course. No, but listen, come on now. We all used to use our brain and think we're gonna get away with something. And I always think that I always think that they're reading my mind, because when you're telling the liar, you're trying to get over. You're being transparent too.
Yeah,
you're seeing right through it. That's the way I felt anyway. Oh, really? Yeah, man. So when the kids come trying to tell you something, they get over you sometimes. But yeah, you know the line.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah.
You know the line. The goat you eat now, me eat the grandmother. That's what I might say is, because as them come up with it and you recognize it, you laugh and say, me did try that one time with my man, I know. And me get a slap feet. We don't know if you want the same result. You know?
Yeah, Ray Allen, can we hear about you? Any of your kid ever try get one over on you? You're muted, Ray. You're muted. You're muted, Ray. You're muted.
Alternative.
Yes, not only my personal kid, but when I was in the classroom, these children try to pull one over me all the way up. And I tell them that, no, listen, I've been there, done that. So come on. Come on. Don't try that with me.
Yes, true. Like, I'm in the classroom.
Don't try that with me. I've been in your shoes and I've been, you know, but answer the question about smarter. Knowledge they had exposed to what we were not exposed to.
Right. True.
But according to the person who spoke last, I don't remember who that was. Right. They know I know I was ahead of them in because we had to do everything. We run the streets, we run the books, we run everything, and we have to find a way to get around our parents. You know, but they are given the technology, they are given the tools, they are given, for example, somebody was talking about the slide ruler, and you know, you give a child at 19 now and give them a rotary phone and see if they can use it.
But I mean, we can bring that up, but is it fair to the kid? Because we had to use what we had. Okay, we had our little calculator. Our parents before that may have used a abacus or whatever. So you have to really use what's there for you.
Yeah, but you look at these kids now at the cashier as you check them out. If you get 99 cents and you to get back a penny, them have to run it through the machine.
Well, Brady,
right?
Well, I mean, what I point, Brady. A couple weeks ago, I tell somebody I'm gonna pick them up. Girl is what? 30 something. I said I'll pick you up at 4:30. And she said, "What do you mean by that?" I said, she said, "What time are you getting?" I said, 4:30. She said, 4:30, sir. Could you tell me the exact time you're coming to get me? I said, 4:30. And I realized, when I said it the third time, I realized I did not know what 4:30 was.
Yeah, they
So I
can't
said,
read
oh,
analog.
I mean 4:30. She said, okay, I'll be ready.
Yeah. I find in my classroom sometimes they're doing exam and each classroom has to have a clock. I still have to go to the internet and project one of those digital timers on the board because
They can't read the other clock.
God forbid if you tell them, God forbid if you tell them something like 140 or 145.
They can't read it.
Don't compute, man. But guys, we've been on now for nearly an hour and a half, and I thank you guys for coming on. It was a great conversation. I learned a lot because listen, growing up back in the 60s and 70s, totally different from what these kids are experiencing. And sometimes I wonder, even for all their book smart, what kind of generation we'll have in another 20, 30 years when we look at who we're leaving this thing to. But I guess our parents may have said the same thing about us.
Yes, that's true.
I'm sure our parents said the same thing about us. But guys, you've been wonderful for all of you who participated. I appreciate it. I really do. And Carol, you're here.
Hey, Carol.
An appearance.
Oh, my
yes,
look
Ray,
at Carol. Look at Carol.
Carol, my question to you. You at 19 versus Chantel at 19. Who's smarter?
Chantel.
Chantel is smarter.
Yes, because her grandmother taught her every day of the week. And that was her love of her life. And she is, and just as they were saying about the addition, like when you go into the supermarket, Mom had a way with math that I could not understand. She could add everything before the checker checked it and tell you the tax and waiting for them to add it up on the machine. And I could never understand how she did that. And Chantel has a way with that too. She's on that. Chantel is faster than I am.
Wow.
I am lazy.
Anyway, guys, it's past my bedtime, and I'd like to thank you.
Oh, Gary.
No,
You're not working tomorrow. You're not working tomorrow.
I could never stay up late. Like, even when I was at college and everybody I would dance and all them thing, the party. No, by 9:30, my eyes start closing. I can't do it. I was never a bleacher.
Tell them the truth, Gary. Marcia have me on the manners. It's church tomorrow. Get to bed now.
I will go to bed. If she said go to bed, as long as she's coming, fine.
That is sibling business. We're not business sibling life.
As long as she couldn't bed, fine.
What's her name, Carol?
Wait, she don't know that I can mute. She don't know that I have the mute button. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for coming on. I appreciate it. Next week, I'm hoping we can discuss something about, let's say, COVID, how COVID has affected us, the changes it has made in our lives, and what we do from here on out. And guys, all you guys, happy Father's Day. Tomorrow
Same to you, Gary.
I know the hurtful thing. You know the hurtful thing? When is this Mother's Day, they get a ton of presents. All we get tomorrow is a little card.
You know something? I saw a quote this week on somebody's Facebook page. It said, "There's one thing you can say about a father: never give the mother the wrong baby."
I'm not getting into that. So, guys, thanks for coming on, man, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Happy Father's Day to the fathers. All right, guys.
Thank you, bro.
Take care, man. Okay, man.